So you'll often catch me saying and thinking that being serious is completely overrated. And, the truth is that there often has to be a mix of seriousness and being jovial or playful or silly. And having those two things, it's an art to figure out what it is. In our culture, we tend to be a lot more serious than we need to be. Now, why do you actually need to have this sort of playfulness or sense of wonder? Or, what I love to say, the analogy I love to say is when you're a kid, you stare at a mud puddle and you're thinking how amazing that this mud puddle actually is. And we don't do that so much as we get older. And we forget about that. So why do we actually need to do this? The reason is that there often is very rigid structures in terms of how we understand the world. And we believe that there is these kind of things that exist in this world. And it's often not true. It's often sort of dreamt up in our mind that these particular structures exist. And sometimes they really truly do exist. But the only way that you can get through them, there's two ways to get through them, right? Like one of them is you're bloody and bruised up and you hate it. And it's a fight, it's a war, right? And that is true that you often need that. But on the other side, it's if you simply just take a step back and say, it's not so serious, that can get you going. Right? That can get you through things that are relatively tough. So for the research game, I'm going to tell you this right off the get-go, right? The people quit all the time. It's hard to actually do it for an extended period of time. I beg you to find a researcher that can do it for an extended period of time. And they will say, oh yeah, like I'm super amazing. When they're telling the truth. Or they'll say, man, it is a grind. It's so hard to actually do, right? And just look at the sheer numbers. Most people don't continue on. It's very difficult, all those kind of things. So how do you sustain it, right? One way is to view it as a war, and it really is, right? Like there is a lot of competition. There's a lot of horribleness to it that a lot of people don't like, right? That's why people don't stay in school forever. It's hard. On the opposite side, if you just simply view it as like, who cares? This is just ultimately really stupid and silly. It can often get you through the times where you don't want to do this, right? So here I am, I'm talking in my car. I know nobody's going to listen to this damn thing. But I'm building the reciprocity project because I know it's actually really important. How do I keep going? There's a certain amount of seriousness. I get it. This is like important to me. But at the same time, I got to learn to be like, whatevs, right? It's not so serious to actually do that. And I still have a barrier inside of me that makes it really difficult to get up and to do this. So for example, doing this in front of people, it's really awkward. I still feel those feelings, but the only way that I can get through it is to not take myself seriously. In order for me to email somebody that I would normally not email, right? They look very serious, very highfalutin, all that kind of stuff. Highfalutin is what my family would have said. So meaning like just, they have a tremendous amount of status. The only way I can do it now is if I don't take myself seriously. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Let's just see. Whatever. And when I do that, I'm able to get through a lot more barriers that are in my mind that seem really serious and really big, right? But in reality, they're really not. It's like and thank God I don't have to date anymore. I'm married to a beautiful wife for many years. But if I was having to do that again, it would still be very difficult for me to do this because of the fact that I would take it too seriously. And so coming back and just being like, whatevs, not taking it seriously sometimes is all you need to feel relaxed, to feel like you can do this thing and just be like, you know what, who cares in the end, right? Like, it doesn't matter. And taking that combination, right, the seriousness where you realize that the world is, yeah, there's some serious things that happen in this world. A lot of people are not nice. You know, there are very important decisions that impact a whole bunch of people. I get it, right? Like, I get all that kind of stuff. But in order for you to often get through those things is to take a step back and say, you know, in the end, we're all going to be okay. To the best of our ability, I'm going to do this, or the best of my ability of making the right appropriate choice. I'm going to do this and see what happens. And even for me to say that, I get anxiety. I have this sort of real built up emotions that come up. But in order for me to keep going and to want to do things, I have to just be a lot more relaxed with who I am and just be like, what else? Right? So practice that today. If you're watching this, practice both. Yes, serious is good, but culture wants us to be serious. Where there is an element of everything is measured, all that kind of stuff. But practice a little element of unseriousness today. See what happens. See how you feel. See if you can get back up and do it again the next day. That's it. That's really it, is this combination of being serious and not serious. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.